So this is him. It's directed by Justin Tipping. Just came out, I believe, this weekend, and I just saw it earlier today. It was interesting when I saw the trailer. I was like, okay, this is a horror movie having to do with a football player. He's going to train with this his mentor that he's looked up to all these years, this big star. But he turns out to be a psycho, right? I mean, he takes this way too far, and things are happening that are creepy and weird, and it's not at all what he had hoped for and what he imagined it would be. So that's interesting. So I was like, okay, and I haven't seen Marlon Wayans do something that wasn't a shitty, unfunny parody in a long time. So I was like, yeah, you know what? I'll give this a chance. In this, we have Isaiah White, played by Marlon Wayans. He's this big football star. I mean, huge. And there's even a point where he gets a really bad injury, and people are like, oh no, but he ends up still being successful and being great. And there's a question out there that he may be retiring, so we have Cameron Cade, played by Tariq Withers. He's been watching his games and been a fan of him ever since he was a little kid. His dad, who is dead in present day, but his dad was really pushing him to play football and really wanted him to potentially be, as big as Isaiah White as a football player. So years go by, and he's been doing really, really good. He's real successful when it comes to playing football, and he's kind of in a good position to potentially, get on the team and maybe even getting that like get to to the level that Isaiah White is basically his replacement, take on the mantle kind of. And so he's able to go stay with Isaiah White at this kind of compound, his compound, and train with him. And things start off intense, but not all that crazy. But then as things go on, there's all kinds of craziness going on with like blood and things like that. And it's very clear that Isaiah takes football very seriously to like a psychotic level. From what I've seen around, people don't really like this movie. Just seeing like thumbnails that have come up on YouTube and things like that, it seems like people aren't really feeling this too much. I guess I'll be somewhat the holdout because I liked a good bit of this movie. I mean, up to a certain point, I thought certain moments were great. Performance is really good, especially by Marlon Wayans. Marlon Wayans is so good in this character, and this character I found so interesting, right? Like the world around him is so crazy when it comes to crazy fans and this the obsession with sacrifice and the way that he trains that's just so extreme. It's cult like and weird, but it's like a really extreme look at what somebody would have to do to get to this level. It's just like how much are you willing to do? How far are you willing to go to become this, which to most people would seem impossible? That scene, I believe it was in the trailer, where they're throwing the ball, and Cameron's throwing the ball to these other guys that are there training with them, and he has 2 seconds to throw the ball, and it gets to the point where it's so extreme that if he misses a throw, or the person he throws it to doesn't catch it, this other guy just gets hit in the face with footballs, and it is brutal. It's hard to watch, and so you're there just like Cameron is. You're kind of being like, "Whoa, this is way too far. This is horrible." And you see Cameron really get into it because he's invested in making sure that this guy doesn't get too hurt. And you look at it and you're like, you know what? This kind of does fit as like a really extreme level of training. And I kind of get where the movie's going, where it's like, if you want to get to this level, you're gonna have to give up some stuff. You're gonna have to go really far, and football is gonna have to become your entire world because that's the way it is for Isaiah. It kind of reminds me of like a Whiplash with J.K. Simmons and Miles Teller, where I mean, what he goes through is full on abusive. I mean, there was a point where he gets into a car accident and still has to try to make it to the make it to play the drums and everything. Uh, and it's that same thing where it's like, how far are you willing to go to really reach the heights of whatever your particular art form or sport or whatever is. If it was just that, where it's just Isaiah, this movie not only would have been good, I think would have been great. The thing that really holds it back is that it still needs to be a horror movie. So we still have to involve other things, and the movie still has to really ramp things up and get absolutely crazy to the point where you don't know what's happening. I mean, it's so overstimulating at a certain point. There's so much going on. I'm trying not to spoil it, but, like, Jesus fuck. Like, there's a character that gets sacrificed, and there's no real like, just gets beheaded out of nowhere, and it's like, there's no real explanation why that's happening. There's other things, it's not just Isaiah, there's other characters involved and things like that. The crazed fan thing that I thought was interesting goes to, like, a ridiculous degree to where it's like, "Wow, okay, I guess alright." The movie just keeps ramping it up and getting crazier and crazier, and then they try to, like, formulate this whole narrative around, like, "Oh, his whole life has been leading to this, and there's other characters involved," and things like that, and it's like, "Bro, what the fuck is going on at this point? Why couldn't it just be about Cameron and Isaiah?" And the question of, do you want to be this? Is it worth it for you to be this? Because the average person would say, fuck no, with a lot of this stuff going on. I mean, it's way too much. If it was just that, it's great when it's that. But it has to go so far. It has to involve all this other stuff going on. And yeah, the ending was just crazy, and then by the time it went to credits, I was like, "Surely there's more to this because where does he go from here?" It's like, it's just it's insanity. For me, it was still alright. For me, up till maybe the halfway point, I was really enjoying it and just wanting to see where it would go. And then from then on, it's just like, okay, so we're just doing weird shit for weird's sake, right? Like we had kind of a storyline going on that I was enjoying, and then we get to this point where it's like, all right, he's seeing visions and things like that. Certain things that are happening is real choppy and all over the place. And I don't even understand what's really going on anymore. And what I do understand, it's like, why do we have to go this route? We were doing just fine before. But anyway, yeah, that is him. I'm giving it good enough. I think it's all right. Overall, it's all right. It's more disappointing than anything else for me because I was enjoying it. But anyway, yeah, subscribe and we're done.